Obituaries, presentation of Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. 256-245-4361. Funerals, burials, cremations, pre-need is Curtis & Son Funeral Home. 256-245-4361. The North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. Curtis & Son Funeral Home presents a look at obituaries this morning. Lena C. Milam, age 87, died January the 11th at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Funeral service will be Saturday at 2 p.m. from the Childersburg Chapel of Curtis & Son Funeral Home. Visitation 12:30 until service time. Burial in the Childersburg Cemetery. Online condolences at curtissonsonfunerals.com. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel, directing that service. Funeral service for Barney Ray Anderson, age 78, of Sylacauga, is Saturday at noon from the Chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home, Reverend Tim Wilson officiating. Mr. Anderson died January the 6th at Shelby Baptist Medical Center. He was a veteran of the U.S. Navy and served 4 years on the aircraft carrier, the USS Hornet. He was a member of the Sylacauga Church of God. The station Saturday from 11 a.m. until noon at Radley Smith Funeral Home. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home, Sylacauga, directing. Funeral service for Jesse O'Dean Smith, age 78, of Alexander City, is today at 2:30 from the Chapel of Radley Funeral Home in Alexander City. Randy Anderson officiating. Burial in the Hillview Memorial Park. The family receiving friends today prior to the service 1 until 2 at the funeral home. Mr. Smith died January the 10th. The family will accept flowers or contributions can be made to the Wounded Warrior Project in Topeka, Kansas, or to the St. Jude Children's Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Mrs. Mary Ethel Shockley, age 93, is Saturday at 1 o'clock from Orr Street Baptist Church in Alexander City. The Reverend Turk Holt officiating. Burial in the Hillview Memorial Park. The family receiving friends Saturday at 11:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. at Orr Street Baptist Church. Mrs. Shockley died Tuesday, January the 10th. She was a charter member of the Orr Street Baptist Church and a choir member for 50-plus years. The family will accept flowers or contributions can be made to the Orr Street Baptist Church in Alexander City. Memorial messages can be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home directing. Memorial service for Mary Rogers Lauros, age 93, is today at 3 p.m. from Earthtree Funeral Home in Talladega. The family will receive friends after the service. Online condolences at earthstreetfuneralhome.com. Earthtree Funeral Home, Talladega, directing. Funeral service for Mr. Darrell Dink Lamar Elston, age 53, is Saturday at 1 o'clock from St. Luke Missionary Baptist Church in Birmingham. Pastor Eugene L. Jacobs officiating. Mr. Elston, a native of Talladega, died January the 4th. A candlelight vigil will be held tonight at 6:30 from Union Springs Missionary Baptist Church on Easterbogle Road in Talladega. Mr. Elston was a graduate of Talladega High School, class of 1981, also Lawson State Community College and Miles College. Brighton Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for James Lee Hayes, age 49, of Alexander City, is today at 11 a.m. from the Chapel of Radley Funeral Home. Brother Blake Cotter officiating. The family received friends last night, and they will accept potted plants or donations can be made to the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Mr. John Henry Lee, age 66, is Saturday at Community Funeral Home Chapel in Sylacauga. That starts at 1 p.m. with burial in the Alabama National Cemetery in Montevallo on Monday, January the 16th. The body will lie in state at the funeral home 1 hour prior to the service. Mr. Lee died January the 6th in Sylacauga, Community Funeral Home, Sylacauga, directing. Funeral service for Jabri Miller, age 19, will be 1 o'clock Saturday at Kelly Springs Baptist Church. The Reverend L. Jacobs officiating, interment in the church cemetery. The body will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service. Visitation is today from 4 until 7 p.m. At the funeral home. Online condolences at terrysmortuary.com. Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary, Talladega, directing. John Michael Jones, 6 weeks old, died January the 11th at Children's Hospital. Graveside service Saturday at 2 p.m. from Midway Memory Gardens. Brother Wes Johnson will officiate the service. The family will receive friends 12:30 to 1:30 Saturday at Talladega Creek Baptist Church. Online condolences at ursrefuneralhome.com. Ursrey Funeral Home, Talladega, directing. Funeral service for Burl Beck Jr., age 73, is Saturday at Christ Deliverance Christian Church. That'll start at 2 p.m. The Reverend Tim Embry is the pastor. The Reverend Barbara Embry and Pastor James Aaron will officiate. Interment in the Beck Memorial Gardens. The body will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service. Online condolences at terrysmortuary.com. Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary, directing. Funeral service for Mr. Ben Shepard, age 81, is Saturday at 1 o'clock in Tallahatchie Baptist Church in Childersburg. Pastor Fred Jemison officiating. Interment in the Lily Roden Cemetery of Childersburg. Mr. Shepard died on Tuesday. Sims Funeral Services in Talladega in charge of the arrangements. That's a look at obituaries this morning, brought to you by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. Funerals, burials, cremations, it's Curtis & Son Funeral Home, 256-245-4361, Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.